Hey guys, welcome back to Fireteam Base. I am ftareaper and I'm here with FTA planBeez. Today we're going to give our quick review of the Star Wars Battlefront 2 beta that's available right now and just give our first impressions on it. So Beez, we've logged a few hours into this game, and what would you say your first impressions of it are?
Not impressed.
Uh-oh.
Not too impressed, huh?
Nope.
No,
What
I
didn't
don't
you like
know.
about it?
Well, man, to tell you the truth, um, our big battles that we had, the ones that so there are three different multiplayer game modes you can play. Obviously, we have the Galactic Assault, which is 40 players, the Starfighter Assault, which is 24 players, and the Strike mode, which is just infantry based, no heroes, 16 players, 8v8. Out of those three game modes we've played, I'd have to say Strike so far is the best. Starfighter Assault is by far the worst, man. I'm not saying I'm terrible at flying, but I just do not like the way the controls are set up at all.
I definitely agree with that. I really didn't feel like they captured the flying as well as they have in some other games like Battlefield and everything. And they also changed the controls to the point where I couldn't fly the way I usually fly, using like the triggers as my throttle, and just R1 is fire and everything. So I wasn't crazy about the controls for starters.
Yeah, no, and not only that, but the way you pitch, the pitch and yaw is, if you're not too familiar with those terms, it's terms for flying. It's just like the direction you fly in and the way you go up and down. It's just not right on one like on each stick. Like if you take Battlefield, which is another game did Dice do this one?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, that another game that Dice did. The flying is not the same, and I prefer Battlefield flying to this. They should have kept it the same. I don't know what made them change it. It just feels weird, you know?
I definitely agree with that. There's a lot going on with it too. There's a lot of different directions to get killed from and everything, which isn't necessarily a problem, but there were a lot of times where I would just pop up as a fighter and then, within 2 or 3 seconds, I'd have someone coming in behind me already. So it really didn't feel fair off the spawn and everything. I feel like if you get the advantage on one team, it's very easy to hold the other team down.
Yeah, say you use that 10. So in the game, there are boundaries. You can go off the map, but you have 10 seconds to get back onto the map. Now, in Starfighter Assault, you can take complete advantage of that. You can, if you find out where the spawn is. I mean, if you circle through that, if you circle through behind the spawn every time, you're going to be able to just wreck them right coming out. So, they do need to make changes to Starfighter Assault. I do not see myself playing that too much if they keep it the way it is right now.
Okay, so we talked about space. Let's talk about some land battles now. We played the Galactic Assault as well. What did you think about that one?
Galactic Assault, it takes some getting used to. You really, so this is another team or game where you really have to work as a team. Obviously, the object that we had in this Galactic Assault map, which was on Tatooine, I believe.
Naboo, I think, actually. But
Was it
yes.
Naboo? Yeah. So the objective
Yes.
is the Empire has to destroy an android ship, and the androids obviously have to protect it while it crosses the map. The biggest thing I didn't really like about that was, again, you can get behind the spawns and then just wreck them, dude. Like, they have to find a way to change that.
Another thing I didn't like is it's very team oriented, but it's not like Battlefield where you can actually spawn on your teammates. It throws you into action with 5 random teammates that aren't necessarily going to work with you. There's a lot of times you spent split from your squad, and it just makes it really hard for you to actually work as a group. You either have to wait in the spawn for the other guy to come back for a long time, or just basically do your own thing and hope it's good enough to win. That and the 20v20, it's kind of like Battlefield where there'll be times where you just get killed out of nowhere. But my biggest complaint I'd say so far is the inconsistency I feel with some of the guns. There's a lot of times where you'll walk up and shoot someone 5, 6, 7 times even, and then they'll just wheel around and somehow put you down in a shot or two. I really didn't feel like it was very balanced with that, and it just seemed, totally random on who was getting killed and who wasn't.
Yeah, and forget about the sniping, man. The sniping in this game, I mean, unless you're used to just sniping and that's all you are, I do not recommend playing as the sniper, which is known as the specialist in this game mode, or in this game. I would not recommend playing with them at all. It'll just mess you up. Stick to your assault, stick to your support guys if you're just starting out. It'll be the best way to get points.
Yeah, sniping's definitely a challenge. Most of the sniper rifles fire 5 to 7 times, I'd say, before you have to reload them, and more often than not, it can take upwards of 3 and 4 hits to actually kill somebody. It's almost not worth using. It's not even really sniping at that point. Okay, on to the strike game mode, which is 8v8 infantry battles that doesn't have the heroes or quite as many of the vehicles that you get in the Galactic Assault. What'd you think about that?
The only positive, the only bright spot in the game to me so far has been this game mode. This game mode is nice. Obviously, another really team-based game mode where you have to take an objective similar to, what would you say, sabotage or even capture the flag.
I'd say it's more like capture the flag, but there's only one flag. One team attacks a certain area, tries to grab the flag, and then has to escape with it as well. It was definitely the best game mode of the three, I felt. The 8v8 worked pretty well. I felt like there was always something going on, but you were never too far from the action, but you also weren't in these situations where you were getting attacked from everywhere. And we're both Battlefield players, so we're used to those kind of scenarios, even in Galactic Assault. But if you're new to this type of game, Galactic Assault is probably not the place you want to start. You want to start somewhere around Strike.
Yes, and I will reiterate, I did like Strike. I did like the way the maps were set up and the spawns are set up. They're set up pretty fairly in this game mode. You can't really get behind in the spawn without being out of bounds. I don't know why they just didn't do that with Galactic Assault.
I agree. I feel like the Strike had the best spawns out of any of them. I still had some scenarios where you were pretty quickly under fire, but never anything too unfair. My other biggest complaint with this game is the radar. I don't like games that use the Halo style where it's even worse than the Halo style where people are just always on the radar. Even in Halo, you used to be able to crouch, if I remember right, and not show up on the radar. But in this, I mean, if you're close to somebody, they can see you, and it just makes it really easy to ID targets, and it kind of like cheapens those kills down a lot. It's still obviously the same with as the first Battlefront, where your lasers are visible pretty much to everyone that can see them. So it's pretty easy tracing like that. I just felt like including the radar on top of that, it's just very easy to find your targets, and it's very easy to stay hidden yourself and go on those longer kill streaks. We had a few where we had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kills in a row, but unless you're just totally camping out in a corner waiting for people to rush an objective, it's hard to go on those long kill streaks when everyone can see you pretty much at all times.
Obviously, now this isn't the full game. The full game also will have a campaign mode and a split screen or online style arcade where you just fight waves of people waves of enemies similar to Horde mode in Gears of War. Reaper, after the first few hours of playing this game, and we got your thoughts. What is your rating for this game?
I'm gonna give it a 4.5. The Galactic Conquest was, okay, not great. Strike was okay, not great. Starfighter was still pretty rough. But it really just felt like more of the same Battlefront to me. Like they didn't really cheapen it, or they didn't really change anything. It just seems kind of a downer, which is too bad because I really feel like I like the Star Wars property. I've been a fan since I was a kid and everything, so I was really hoping these games would turn back around, but as of yet, I really don't feel like they have.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 5.5. I feel like they did improve on a few things and they didn't stop, or they didn't really change a lot of other things. The one thing I do like that they did improve on is you go based on points. The more points you earn in a match, the more chance you have of becoming a hero, which in the first Battlefront you just would have people camping where the hero would spawn up. You remember those little coins in the middle of the maps that would just come up, and you'd never ever get to be somebody with a lightsaber because people would just be camping it the whole game waiting for it to come back up again.
I definitely agree, and I like that it's more based on merit than it is just random, what pops up in front of you. I also like that. It's almost like the Call of Duty style kill streak where it rewards people doing well, but it's got a little bit of a change up where you actually get to decide on how that's spent. as opposed to Call of Duty where you pick 3 or 4 of them going into a game. So I did like that a little bit, but to me, it's just not enough to save the game for me.
Exactly, same here, man. Well, there you have it, guys. This is only the beta, but these are our first initial thoughts. Reaper, you planning on getting the game?
Maybe if I'm desperate, if I'm looking for something to play, I'll probably scoop it. But I don't really see it holding a ton of lasting power like a Battlefield, Rainbow Six, Call of Duty, something like that. I put it definitely a step behind those games.
I agree. Luckily, we both have EA Sports or EA Access, so we'll be able to try it out for 10 more hours before we have to buy the game. I strongly recommend that to people who are fans of EA Sports games. I would check out the app EA Access, $30 a year. You try out every game that's EA before it comes out. You get 10 free hours and you get a discount on if you like the game or not. But yeah, it's a solid no for me, man. I'm gonna try it out, but I doubt it's gonna change my mind.
I agree. I think we'll just have to wait and see. All right, guys, if you played the beta, let us know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And, for Fireteam Base, I'm Reaper. This is Beez.
Bees out, slug.
Keep reaping, guys.